For a listener out there that is interested in getting into their first assisted living facility, and maybe they have a little bit of capital they're working with, maybe they have a small record investing into other real estate assets, how would you recommend one get started if they don't know much about it
On the real estate investing side?
on the assisted living facility side?
Okay. Like operations is what you're asking, or
Not
just the real
operations,
estate?
but to buy one, right?
Yeah.
They want to go buy their first one, and then maybe they want to lease it out to an operator.
Yeah. I would for sure get to know the market you want to be in. Because this is such a niche specific like thing in real estate. And you do need to know your operators well because honestly, there's so much opportunity here, and there's a lot of operators that want to lease, but there's not a lot of landlords willing to convert their properties and put in the money to do it, right? Why would I take a single family home that I've been short term renting or whatever and convert it to lease it out to an operator on a 5-year lease? So there is that opportunity. But what I would recommend is, yeah, get to know your market first and get in a state where it's going to be like landlord friendly, but also where you can get the most beds out of a certain property, right? So, like for instance, like I said, Arizona and Texas is where you're able to get the most licensed beds out of all the states, and so that's where I would focus on. Like I would focus on Texas and Arizona because even Washington State, Oregon, those are popular states for this model, but you can only get licensed for 6 beds, including California. And not only that, but real estate prices too, right? Even though Texas and Arizona have just skyrocketed, it's hard to find something where you can possibly get. But the nice thing is, you can have a 6 bedroom home, a 3 bath, 6'3", and you can license it for 10 beds, right? If the rooms are big enough.
Mhm.
So if I was somebody new, that's what I would kind of just focus on is the markets that this business model works really well in. Florida is a lot more affordable, but again, Florida, you can only really license up to six
Up to
beds.
6. But it sounds like Texas is a great play because, 1, it's got warm weather,
Mhm.
generally speaking. 2, there's no state income tax, so,
Correct. Yeah.
great place to retire. But then number 3, you can go up to, is it 16 or 18 beds?
16 beds
16 beds. I
in a
mean,
residential home.
in a residential home. So,
Yeah.
is it challenging to find a property that you can convert into 16 bedrooms? That sounds like the biggest question mark, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How
It
do you get
is
around that?
challenging. It is challenging. And even in Arizona, it's challenging to find stuff that we can convert to 10 bedrooms
Mhm.
to make them all private. It's okay to get away with just doing 9 bedrooms or even 8 bedrooms. Like, you don't need to like go essentially all out and try to get all the bedrooms private because there's not going to be residents who can afford that budget of paying a private room, right? So that's what I always tell like even the people I mentor and help is it's not necessary that you get all the bedrooms private. Try to have a combination of the two. Probably less semi-private or shared and more private, but don't be just like fixated on getting it all private. So hopefully that helps some of the listeners too.
It's more important than ever, I think, now, especially. I mean, not trust the banks, get your money out of the banking system, put it into real assets
Yeah.
such as real estate, assets that produce cash flow, assisted living facilities, multifamily, boutique hotels, industrial. Put your money into real assets that produce cash flow because that long term, that's the only thing that can be trusted. The dollar can't be trusted. The banking system can't be trusted. Cash is trash. Like
Yeah.
that's a proven thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be continue to be devalued over time, and so long term, I think the only thing that's a safe bet. I mean, the stock market can't be trusted. Crypto can't be trusted. That was such a hot thing a couple years ago.
It was I have crypto holdings, but it's such a small percentage of like my cash, right? Because I do believe in diversification, but I also don't believe in like putting all your eggs in one basket either.
Hmm. If you're going to put your eggs in one basket, put it into a good real estate asset class.
Tangible
But
too.
to
Yeah.
me, stocks, paper assets,
Digital.
crypto especially. I mean, that's it, to me, that's not really investing. It's speculating. You could call it gambling.
Yeah. It is, man. And that was one thing like that you got the people who are just hardcore about it. And then you also and vice versa. But one thing I was really into crypto probably a year, 2 years ago. Even though I still have my holdings and everything, I don't rely on that as like this is what's going to make me successful. Like I don't look at that like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be, have this crazy Dogecoin run or something. So one thing, obviously, doing deals as much as I've been doing them and everything, it's only proven to me as well. This is where it's at. This is how you truly grow generational wealth. Because yeah, can you go make a few 100,000 or whatever million through maybe crypto? But just like anybody else who wins the lottery, what are you going to do with that afterwards?
Hmm.
Just because you had this lucky streak, or you may have put a few $1,000s into something and it multiplied. Okay, what's your plan after that? And most people don't have a plan after that. They're working and they're just hoping, right? They're hoping, and that's not investing either. Oh, I'm hoping this will go up. I'm hoping this will pan out.
Yeah.
It's like that's not investing. Investing is actually looking at numbers, looking at metrics, seeing how things produce. What is it doing for you? How's it working for you? Right. And that's where real estate is just one of those things that you can day in and day out go and look at and see how it's doing for you. Right. And I think it's just the best asset and we may be biased because we do it, but personally, and then you have people who do the operations side, right? And what we do is an operation, whether people like to call it that or not. It is a business, how we choose to run our real estate portfolios and business. And that's another thing. There is a lot of people who want to get into real estate, but they treat it as like a side hustle, and that's not really a business. That's, yeah, you go buy an asset, but that's about it. And so I think if you're a good operator in general of businesses, you'll always be successful, whether that be to run a syndication firm, whether that be, running an assisted living facility.